You're listening to the AstroMommy Newsletter read-aloud version of my daily horoscope published on Substack. If you would like to read this, please click on the link in the description box below. Without further ado, here is the daily horoscope. I felt like I was going to die, plus the weekend forecast, a new poem, Mercury stations direct, and a 3-card spread. Weekend horoscope for Saturday and Sunday, October 1st through the 2nd, 2022. Welcome to the AstroMommy Newsletter, a daily horoscope that hopes to shine a light in the dark, helping us all see where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. The AstroMommy Newsletter is a reader-supported publication, meaning it only thrives thanks to the generous support of lovely people just like you. The 2 best ways you can support my work are to share this newsletter with a friend and to consider upgrading to a paid subscription. Whether you're a first-time reader or a long-time subscriber, thanks for being here. I truly appreciate you being in my community. I hope you enjoyed today's horoscope and card reading. Blessings. What I am about to share with you is a real story, kind of written in verse, about something that happened to me last night. I just feel raw and untethered this morning. It's the weirdest thing, showing myself every day. I don't normally show myself to people for even 5 days, let alone 365. You guys get to see all the good and get to hear about all the bad. Last night was bad. I had an anxiety attack that came out of nowhere, like they always do. I was sitting on my bed, watching Ada Limon read her poem at the Library of Congress about her fear of sharks. I am afraid of sharks too, but I think my poem would show more of their fearsomeness. And then my heart skipped a beat, made a little flutter, and then started pounding like the hooves of a horse on my chest, the fastest horse I've ever felt. I immediately tried my breathing exercise, the one where I breathe in, hold my breath, and then breathe out, for the same amount of seconds each way. It didn't work. So I grabbed my oil blend, the one I lovingly named Love Your Heart, and rubbed it on my jumping chest and on my palms and cupped them around my nose and mouth and breathed in deeply. It didn't work. After about 10 minutes of nothing that normally working, I went to my husband to tell him what was happening. Then my 3-year-old woke up from her nap, so I took her back to the bedroom, where hopefully I could rest and she could watch a movie on my computer. But she wasn't satisfied. She wanted this and that and more, so I yelled, "Mommy is having an issue right now. I need you to wait." I turned around, feeling hopeless and sorry for myself, the fear creeping in around the edges of my being, and I kneeled on the ground and started to cry. Why wouldn't my heart stop pounding? My husband heard me yell and came in and wrapped his arms around me, his warm embrace reminding me that I was loved and not alone. I cried into his arms for a while. Then I rose and he hugged me. I remembered the last long anxiety attack that I had had when I was pregnant with my 4th child. My heart started racing and jumping out of my chest for about an hour and then suddenly went back to normal. The next day, my husband took me to the clinic to get checked out, and they said my heart was perfectly healthy. The only thing was that I was low in potassium and B12. Remembering this, I decided to start throwing the kitchen sink at my anxiety. I took some B12, a dose of herbal iron, and tried to eat half an avocado, which is rich in potassium. I also had my husband make me some valerian root tea for the calming effects. We sat on my bed, my husband, my 3-year-old, and me, taking turns listening to my racing heart with my stethoscope and fetoscope. My heart was going so fast. I told my husband that if it was still happening after an hour, we would have to make a decision on whether or not to call 911 or go to the ER. Hurricane Ian's tropical storm had reached us and was dumping rain outside, rattling the windows with his gusty winds. I didn't want to go anywhere, and I didn't want anyone to have to go out in that weather because of me. Also, I was out of clean socks. An hour passed, then an hour and 15 minutes. I started to cry again. I was scared, and the fear was tightening its grip on me. I closed my eyes and focused on my breathing again and started to imagine myself wrapped up in heavenly love. I was not going to die. This was just anxiety. I let the feelings of divine love wash over me, loosening the muscles in my neck and chest that had grown tight, relaxing my mind. It was not my time to go. Sure, I have a tough solar return coming up next year, and Mars is passing through my first house, but it's not my time. My heart, although still beating very fast, got quieter. It was more like a stampede of mice running across my chest instead of a large stallion. This was encouraging. I told my husband that since my heart had calmed a bit, I didn't want to go to the ER or call 911. I said, "This is proof for me that this is anxiety." He said, "Okay." I asked him to hand me my herbal remedy book because I wanted to look up which herbs were good for tachycardia and anxiety attacks. Maybe I had one of them. The first place the index directed me to was to motherwort, good for heart health, including heart rate regulation, panic attacks, and anxiety. I actually had a tincture of this herb. I went out into the hall and found the tincture inside one of the bins I had cleaned out from the bathroom. Our bathroom is having a mold issue, and I cleared everything out of it so we could clean it with the mold killer, so my hallway is lined with bags of bathroom stuff. I had bought this tincture for the birth of my fourth child because we had a home birth, and I wanted this tincture on hand in case I bled too much after the birth. It's an amazing herb for heart health and helps when you're having a bleeding issue. I thought to myself, this just saved my life. And I brought it into the bedroom, put the appropriate amount of drops into some water, and swallowed it. Within about 5 to 10 seconds, I felt a sort of warmth wash over my chest. At first, I thought it was just the alcohol and the tincture creating that sensation, but then I realized my heart was normal. I grabbed the fetoscope and listened, and my heartbeat was normal. I looked at my husband and said, "It worked! My heartbeat is normal! It's normal!" I hugged the book, and then I collapsed into my palms and cried. I didn't die. I was alive. I crawled over to my husband and cried into his chest with relief. No, I'm not a doctor, but given my history of anxiety attacks, I'm pretty sure this was one. I will make an appointment with a specialist as soon as I can to get checked out to make sure it's nothing else, though. If anything, just to collect a few health professionals for my team. I wanted to share this with you all because anxiety is very real and it's very scary. I also wrote my own poem about sharks that I would like to share with you now. The Best Way to Prevent a Shark Attack by Monica Mosey Segalerides. Don't go in the water. Thank you for reading or listening. Now, on to the regular weekend report. Good morning, friends. Today is the last day of my sale. When you spend $100 on astrological services through my booking site, you will get a free sterling silver zodiac or planetary pendant. I really love these and wear one almost every day. Seriously, they go with everything. If you have wanted a reading or know someone that would appreciate a reading, then today is the day to book your reading or buy a gift card. You can give your friend or loved one a sweet little pendant and a free reading for their birthday, Christmas, or to celebrate an anniversary. The options are endless. Here are the steps to book your reading and claim your free gift. 1. Book a reading or buy a gift card on my booking site. Make sure that your total is $100 or more to qualify for the free gift. I would suggest purchasing the New Client 2 Reading Special for $100 or a $100 gift card. 2. Send me an email to astromommyastrology@gmail.com to let me know that you made your purchase. Please include the zodiac sign or planet that you would prefer. I have a limited supply of pendants, so it is first come, first serve until supplies last. And your shipping address. If you would like a different time than what is available on my booking site for your reading, please purchase a gift card for $100 to lock in the free gift and then email me and we can figure out the best time for your reading. And if you don't want a reading but you would like to leave a tip, you are welcome to leave a donation on my donate page. Every dollar helps me be able to continue to bring the daily horoscope to you. Thank you so much to those of you who have donated. You have all made my day and my life a little easier. So thank you. In other news, Hurricane Ian turned into a tropical storm and dumped a bunch of rain on us last night, but we only had one power outage that lasted about 5 minutes. Other than the short interruption in our power, nothing else seemed to happen. Checking the news this morning, this headline caught my eye. A 4-foot shark was filmed swimming in a flooded backyard after Hurricane Ian pummeled southwest Florida, and yes, the video was deemed real. Okay, let's get into the astrology. Well, today is October 1st, so rabbit, rabbit. That's what my first teacher, David Palmer, the Leo King, always says on the first of the month for good luck. Today, the moon is in Sagittarius and starts her day with a sextile to Saturn and an opposition to Mars. This opposition creates a grand cross between the moon, Mars, Mercury, and Neptune. Overlapping this grand cross is Venus and Jupiter perfecting their opposition today as well. So, Let's unpack this. The moon, which governs our bodies, our emotions, our circumstances, and in mundane astrology has to do with women, especially mothers, is first making a sextile to Saturn, the planet of limitations, seriousness, and responsibility. This harmonious aspect in the fire sign Sagittarius and the air sign Aquarius could indicate an opportunity to speak your truth today that sets the stage for the whole day. You may feel a sense of redemption as you share your story with authenticity and integrity with anyone who will listen. The moon in Sagittarius opposite Mars in Gemini may give you a sense of passion, assertiveness, and a desire for change, but use your intellect to assess the best course of action. This combo could lead to hastiness, quarrels, or inner tension. Breathe, relax, and maybe write down your feelings, desires, or needs first before acting on them. Then once the next step is clear, this combo can give you the energy and the courage to say what you need to say. Mercury and Neptune are within 39 minutes of perfecting an opposition, which, remember, won't perfect because Mercury is going to turn direct on Sunday before this aspect can become exact. Mercury opposite Neptune can cause some cloudiness in our thinking. We could feel uncertain about our path in life and wonder if we are doing the right thing. This combo could also bring forth really powerful spiritual aha moments that will eventually bring great clarity once the initial fog clears. But first, as with any Neptune opposition, there is the feeling of drowning or dissolving into something. So this could represent an initial feeling of bewilderment, depression, or anxiety, and then resolve itself and the path is clear again when this transit subsides by next weekend. So during this week, you may want to keep a journal and write down your thoughts. It may not be a time when things are clear, but that's okay. We're not meant to know where the path is at all times. It kind of makes finding the path that much more exciting, right? With Mercury stationing direct on Sunday at 5:07 a.m., the energy will start to shift in a much more forward-facing way. The last Mercury retrograde back in May and June, I described as being stuck in a construction zone. You had to just have patience until you reached the end. But this one, I feel, is more like being on the beach getting hit by wave after wave after wave. Again, you have to wait before you can move. But the emotional intensity of the Mercury retrograde seems to be really watery, and I think that is because of the Mercury opposite Neptune influence that has been going on. There has been this incredible feeling of emotional turmoil during this retrograde, at least for me and for people I know. How has this Mercury retrograde felt for you? Can you describe it with a metaphor or a simile? I would love to know the imagery that you have associated with the last 3 weeks, or 6 weeks, since Mercury entered its shadow period. Please leave a comment. Once Mercury goes direct on Sunday, we still have the shadow period to deal with as Mercury picks up speed, which will end on October 16th, 2022, when he will cross over the 8th degree of Libra, which he started his retrograde on. And last but not least, we have Venus opposite Jupiter today, and also at the same time, Venus is making a sesquiquadrate to Saturn this weekend. So this could be a time of good fortune and abundance, as Jupiter and Venus are the two benefics and love to bring good fortune, harmony, and generally pleasing things into our lives. But there is also a bit of seriousness or the feeling like we are adding more responsibility with Saturn being involved. Since Jupiter is in Aries and Venus is in Libra, there is a sense of tension, and I think we could expect to see or hear people experiencing issues surrounding their relationships and their perception of freedom and individuality. But we will see a compromise because these two planets are of similar natures and they want to nurture and bring good fortune to those they touch. So ultimately, I think it's kind of like a decision between something good and something great. Both options are good. There is still a choice to be made. Do you choose one, none, or both? I am reminded of a decision that I just had to make. I have enrolled in a new astrology course learning horary and the foundations of classical medical astrology. I am super excited about this, and it is exactly what I want to learn. The only drawback is that the new class overlaps the class I'm already taking on traditional astrology by about an hour. Literally, the two classes are almost at the same time. I had to make a decision as to which class I will give precedence to, the old one or the new one. And even though I know I won't literally be hurting anyone's feelings, I feel kind of bad about my decision, but also kind of fantastic about it too. I have decided to give the new class precedence because the first one allows for a go-at-your-own-pace type of thing, and the new one does not. It's definitely Venus opposite Jupiter, too much of a good thing, and I had to make a choice or a compromise between two really great classes. Ultimately, though, I had to choose the path that is right for me as an individual, Aries, on a mission, Jupiter, to become an amazing astrologer. True to form, I chose to take both classes. The more the merrier. Have you had any experiences that fit this transit lately? Of course, I would love to know, so leave a comment. And last, but seriously not least, is the moon moves into Capricorn early in the morning on Sunday at 3:37 a.m. Eastern Time. Once the moon is in Capricorn, where she is in her detriment, we will feel a sort of detached, get down to business kind of attitude. She will make squares to Venus and the Sun in Libra and also to Jupiter in Aries. So this is going to feel like we are taking forward-moving steps on our goals. I feel that maybe Saturday is the day where more of the emotional stuff may come up, and then Sunday we're just going to power through, because that's what you do when you're dealing with a storm, right? You may have to find your inner strength and your inner stoicism and just do the work. Like that poor shark stuck in the backyard. If they want to get out of that situation, they're going to have to find a way, or maybe a rescue team will go out there and try to capture the shark to release them back out to sea. It will be interesting to hear what happens, but my point is, at first it's such a shock to see a shark swimming in a flooded backyard. That's what horror stories are made of, right? But then it's like, okay, there's a shark that is seriously in need of our help. Let's get this done. And then people will go and help the shark get back to a place where they belong. That's what I think Sunday will be like. People putting their emotions aside and just doing the work that needs to be done. Let's move on to a 3-card spread for the weekend. I'm going to pick a card for the weekend as a whole, what to be mindful of, and what to embrace. The first card represents the weekend as a whole, 5 of Cups. The 5 of Cups is about past emotions, feeling them, working through them, and letting them go. On this card, we see 5 large jugs, each topped with what looks like a 5-legged octopus star surrounded by blue water. 3 of the jugs are upright with octopus stars sitting on top, keeping what is inside from spilling out. But 2 jugs are on their sides, releasing the contents, and the octopus stars are sliding off the tops of the jugs, liberating themselves from their posts. So this could be an emotional weekend where we are all working through our feelings as they come up, releasing them and letting them go. The second card signifies what to be mindful of, Daughter of Cups. The Daughter of Cups is about self-care and taking part in pleasurable things that feel good because they feel good, letting yourself have enjoyable experiences. On this card, we see a woman washing herself under a waterfall, the water spilling off of her and cascading down many pools. The waterfall is surrounded by greenery that is flanked on either side by the red of the mountain and an earthy tree adorned with sparse green leaves. It looks like the woman has a white jug sitting on a turtle beside her. For the energy to be mindful of, I feel that this card represents being mindful of how we take care of ourselves this weekend. It is a reminder to let your emotions wash over you and flow like a waterfall. It is a reminder that pleasure is important and cleansing is important and can be had together. I also feel that this card is reminding us to care for ourselves in a beautiful and loving way. And the third card represents what to embrace, 5, the Hierophant. 5, the Hierophant, is the lawgiver, the judge, the priest, or the parent, and represents morality. On this card, we see the Hierophant, a priestess preaching to a crowd. A man stands behind her, holding 2 swords. People kneel at her feet, praying. She is standing on top of a box, so she is above everyone. There is a crest in the background, and beyond that, a city wall, and beyond that, a lake, mountains with snow-covered peaks, and evergreen trees. There is also a scroll, without words, in the foreground. What this card says to me as the energy to embrace is to understand that you don't need a priest or a priestess in order to access the divine. You already have access just by being you. Whatever morality, dogma, or judgment is trying to get in between you and your spirit guides, your inner wisdom, or your connection to the divine doesn't need to be there. There may be a fear of breaking some sort of rule or some sort of status quo, and this may need to be explored in order to understand what it is that you are really afraid of. Looking at this reading as a whole, I feel that this weekend could be a really important one for emotional and spiritual growth. And of course, it ties in so nicely with the transits. I wish you all the best on your individual journeys and know that I am always here, only an email away. Let me know if this reading resonates with you in the comments. I hope this is helpful. Until tomorrow, AstroMommy.
Today's horoscope was brought to you by the Moon in Sagittarius, sextile Saturn, opposing Mars, then moving on to Capricorn on Sunday. Mercury opposing Neptune and stationing direct on Sunday. Venus opposite Jupiter and making a sesquiquadrate to Saturn. Quick links and resources can be found at the bottom of the newsletter. Today's card was pulled from the Motherpeace Round Tarot and book set available on Amazon. If you purchase anything through the affiliate links that I provide in the newsletters, I will make a small commission, but there are no additional costs to you. I don't share or recommend things that I don't 100% believe in and use myself. Thanks for listening.